My name is Lenora Hollis. I'm 52 years old, and on September 12th, 2025, I died on my living room floor. I've lived in the same small town in Missouri my whole life. I was an elementary school librarian for 25 years before I retired. My husband, Mark, is a good man. Our 2 kids are grown and have lives of their own now. My life was normal, but for the past year I'd been so worried. I worried about the world I saw on the news. It felt like every month there was something new and terrible. The lawmakers shot in Minnesota, that awful attack on the Israeli embassy. It just felt like the country was coming apart at the seams. I'd pray about it, but most days it felt like dropping a penny in the ocean. That night, September 12th, was 2 days after Charlie Kirk was killed in Utah. Mark was in the garage working on his truck. I was in the living room just watching the news. You couldn't escape it. For 2 days, every channel was the same horrible loop of images. The outdoor stage at the university, the crowd scattering, the commentators shouting at each other, placing blame, one side blaming the other. The anger was so thick you could feel it through the screen. They had just arrested the shooter, a 22-year-old kid named Tyler James Robinson. They showed his picture. He looked so young, so lost. They were talking about how he'd been radicalized online, about his posts, about the hateful messages he read and believed. I looked at the picture of this young man, and then they showed a picture of Charlie Kirk, smiling with his family, and this wave of pure, hopeless sorrow just washed over me. Not for one side or the other, for everyone, for the hate that had led that boy up onto that roof, for the division that was tearing us all to pieces. And then something happened inside my chest. It wasn't a sharp pain, not at first. It was a heavy, hot pressure, like someone had put a hot iron right in the center of my chest and was pressing down, harder and harder. I tried to call out for Mark, but no sound came out. My throat was tight. My breath was gone. My phone slipped from my hand and clattered on the hardwood floor. The last thing I saw was the ceiling fan turning slow, 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 and then nothing. Everything went black and quiet. So quiet. The pain was gone, the pressure, the fear, all of it just vanished. For a moment there was just nothing. A peaceful, empty silence. And then I had a thought. I'm okay. Slowly I became aware of something. I was floating. I looked down and I saw my living room. I saw my body lying on the floor by the couch. My eyes were open, staring blankly at the ceiling. It was the strangest thing you could ever imagine. It was me, but it wasn't me. There was no connection. I felt no panic. It was like watching a scene from a movie I'd seen 100 times before. I saw Mark run in from the garage, wiping grease from his hands with a rag. He saw me, the look on his face. I'll never forget it. Pure terror. He screamed my name. Lenora. Oh God, Lenora. He dropped to his knees beside me, shaking my shoulders. I could see his mouth moving, but I couldn't hear him. It was all silent. Everything was behind a thick wall of glass. He pulled out his phone, his hands shaking so badly he could barely dial 911. I just watched. I felt a gentle pull, a soft, tugging sensation, pulling me backward, away from the scene, away from my home, away from Mark. The living room faded and I was in that soft, quiet darkness again. I wasn't scared. That's the part people have a hard time understanding. The fear was gone. The worry was gone. The librarian from Missouri, the wife, the mom, all of that was fading away. All that was left was me, just my awareness, and I felt free. I floated in this peaceful dark for what felt like an eternity, and also no time at all. Time didn't mean anything there, and then I felt a change. It wasn't something I saw with my eyes. It was something I felt in the very core of my being. The air, if you can call it that, began to vibrate. It was like a single, perfect musical note was being played. A note so pure and deep that it hummed through everything. It wasn't a sound I heard with my ears. It was a feeling that resonated inside my soul. With the vibration came a warmth, not like sunshine, not like a fire. It was the warmth of being completely, perfectly, and unconditionally held. It was the feeling of a mother's hug after you've been lost for years. Then a light began to form in the distance, but light is the wrong word. It was life itself. Imagine a waterfall made of liquid gold and pure white energy flowing and weaving itself together. It wasn't blinding, it was inviting. It drew me in. As it got closer, this waterfall of life began to take a shape, a form, the shape of a man. It wasn't a man of flesh and bone. It was a man made of that humming vibration, made of that impossible warmth, made of that living light. I knew instantly who it was. My soul knew him. Jesus. He didn't have a beard and sandals like in the paintings. He was a form of pure love that my mind interpreted as a man, so I wouldn't be afraid. He didn't speak with a mouth. His thoughts, his voice, became my thoughts. They were poured directly into my heart. His first thought to me was, "Peace, Lenora. Be still." The moment he thought it, a peace that makes no earthly sense washed over me. Every worry I ever had about the world, every fear, every single regret from my 52 years of life, it was just gone. Not forgotten, but healed. In his presence, I saw my entire life, not like a movie playing out. It was more like I suddenly understood the reason for every single moment. There was no judgment in his presence. There was only a deep, unshakable truth. I was known, every hidden part of me, and I was loved. The light didn't just expose my flaws, it healed them as I saw them. Tears filled my eyes. They were tears of pure, overwhelming gratitude. I had been searching for this feeling my whole life, and I never even knew it. Then his thought came to me again, gentle but clear. "I have something to show you." The darkness around us shifted. It became like a giant screen, and on it, I saw an image. It was a beautiful, ornate mirror. It was huge, covering everything. I could see reflections of mountains and oceans and cities in it. It was glorious. I knew somehow that the mirror was America, but as I looked closer, I saw a crack, a thin, jagged line running right down the middle. It was the hate I'd been feeling from the news. It was the chasm between us all. On one side of the mirror, I saw people polishing their reflection until it gleamed. They were so proud of it, so sure they were right. They ignored the crack. On the other side, people were throwing stones at the other's reflection. They were consumed with anger at what they saw. Every time a stone hit, the crack would splinter and grow. I saw the face of Charlie Kirk, and I saw the face of the young man who shot him, Tyler Robinson. Both were trapped in the same shattering reflection. I felt a deep sorrow well up inside me. They're breaking it, I thought, my heart aching. They don't even see. Jesus' voice filled my soul. It wasn't angry. It was filled with a deep, divine sadness. They have forgotten that they share the same mirror. They see only the other reflection, not the brother or sister standing beside them. Pride on one side and anger on the other. Both are shattering the whole. The scene changed. Now I was looking down on homes, millions of them. I saw families at dinner tables, friends having coffee. But in the corners of the rooms, I saw those thin, formless shadows whispering. They were whispering suspicion, resentment, fear. I saw a young man alone in his room, staring at a screen, and a shadow was wrapped around him, feeding him rage, telling him that people who disagreed with him were his enemies, that violence was an answer. I knew I was seeing how a 22-year-old boy could be convinced to climb to a rooftop with a rifle. "What are they?" I asked, horrified. "They are the voice of the enemy," Jesus replied. "He has no real power, but the power people give him. He only has his whisper. He convinces my children that their neighbor is their enemy. He works in the shadows of their hearts, in the places they refuse to give to me. My heart broke. It felt hopeless. The mirror was shattering. The whispers were everywhere. It was over then, I thought. It's too late. And then Jesus said so gently, "Look again." He waved his hand, and the scene shifted one more time. I was looking at a map of America. At night, it was mostly dark, but then I saw it. A tiny flicker of light, like someone striking a match in a huge dark stadium. It was in a small town in Oregon, then another one in a suburb of Dallas, then another in a city block in New York. Soon there were thousands, little pinpricks of warm, golden light. "What are they?" I asked. My spirit filled with a sudden rising hope. "These are my people," he said, and his voice was filled with so much love, it felt like it could rebuild the world. "This is prayer. This is forgiveness. This is kindness when it is not deserved." He showed me what each light was. I saw one flicker on when a woman, heartbroken over the news from Utah, chose to pray for both families, for Kirks' family and for the shooter's family, instead of posting something angry online. I saw another light shine when a man bought groceries for his neighbor who had a different political sign in his yard. I saw a church, just a small group on their knees, weeping and praying for their city, and their light was like a bonfire. "The darkness is loud," Jesus said, "but the light is stronger. It does not scream, it does not fight, it simply is." The enemy works in noise and rage. I work in the quiet acts of love. This is the battle for the soul of your nation. It is not fought in your capitals or on your news channels. It is fought here, in the human heart. I saw that the small lights were beginning to push back the darkness, where the lights grew brighter. The whispering shadows would shrivel and pull back. I was filled with an awe so profound that I have no words for it. I understood. I looked at him, at this being a pure love, and I never wanted to leave. "Please," I thought to him, "let me stay. I don't want to go back. It's too hard down there. It's too broken." He looked at me, and his smile was an explosion of pure joy that wrapped around me and filled every broken piece of me. "Lenora," his voice was so tender, "your work is not finished. They need your light. That little library the children you read to, the husband who loves you, your story with them is not over. I am sending you back. Go and be one of the small lights. Do not worry about changing the whole world. Just shine where you are planted. Tell them their small acts of love are shaking the foundations of darkness. Go and remind them." I begged him. Leaving his presence felt like dying all over again. "I will be with you," he promised. "You will not be alone." He reached out his hand of light and touched my heart. A wave of love and strength poured into me, and then I felt that pulling sensation again, pulling me down, away from the light, away from him. The last thing I heard was his voice echoing in my soul. Just love. The peace shattered. The warmth vanished. A jolt, violent and electric, shot through me. I took a breath, a ragged, burning breath that felt like breathing fire and broken glass. My chest was on fire. A bright, blinding light was above me. Someone was shouting my name. "We've got a pulse. We've got her back." My eyes fluttered open. I saw a paramedic staring down at me. An oxygen mask was strapped to my face. I was still on my living room floor. I turned my head and saw Mark huddled in the corner, his face buried in his hands, sobbing. "Mark," I whispered. He looked up, his eyes wide with disbelief. "Lenora, at the hospital they told me I'd had a widowmaker heart attack. They said I was clinically dead for 11 minutes. The lead doctor kept shaking his head. "I'm not a religious man, Mrs. Hollis," he said, "but I can't explain this. By all accounts, you shouldn't be here. And even if you were, you should have severe brain damage. But you're perfect. It's a miracle." I knew it was. When I finally came home, the world looked different. The anger on the news felt so small, so pointless. I knew the whispers were still there, I knew the mirror was still cracked, but I also knew about the lights. I knew the truth. And that's why I'm telling you this. I'm just a librarian from Missouri who died on her living room floor, but I was sent back with a message. That feeling you have that the world is broken, it is. That sense that the darkness and the hate are winning. That's what the enemy wants you to believe. But Jesus told me to tell you that the battle is won in the small, quiet places. It's won when you choose to pray for someone you disagree with. It's won when you show kindness to a neighbor who annoys you. It's won when you turn off the loud voices of rage and you listen for the quiet whisper of the Holy Spirit. He's not asking you to fix America. He's not asking you to win an argument. He's asking you to be a light, a small, warm pinprick of light in the darkness, right where you are. Heaven is real. Jesus is alive. And he is asking you the same thing he asked me. Will you be a light?